I follow the exact same procedure. Today it doesn't want to work. The other day it did the same thing. So something must have changed on the background somewhere, some setting or update or something. But something changed. All right.
Yes.
Beena, yes. You continue. You continue. While I
Okay, so I was
share
just
the
saying
other
that,
things.
okay, yes, we were trying, and we have been very thorough, because Sil always started like at least around 15-16 minutes beforehand to take care of all these things. But it's still sometimes the glitches happen, and these glitches, when they are happening again and again, uh, these type of situation, when it comes into life, Sil always suggests that pay attention to your inadvertent intent.
Yeah.
And it was a technical issue, this one, what we are dealing with. But in general, in life, when we see a pattern, we need to pay attention to that. That maybe our some intents are contradicting with the actions we are taking right now. Because intent are so powerful. Intents are so powerful, even more than actions sometimes. I have seen that you do take a lot of deliberate actions and everything, and then still things don't work out the way you are expecting, and sometimes even don't even happen at all. And then that is something really we need to pay attention, because patterns are very good uh, marker for that, to understand that what's going on. So instead of getting stressed, instead of getting really irritated or bothered or frustrated by the situation, if we just hold on, take a power pause. Power pause is another term from Way of Impeccability. It's a big, huge, really a superpower if you can have that, because power pause is a process in your power back from situations, from other people, from whatever. Power pause is a process where you just say, nope, I'm going to take my power back.
Yeah.
This is what power pause is, and it's a big, huge detail about that. If anyone is interested, of course, you can always come and discuss with us. Syl would love to do that. I'm just saying on his behalf, because I love to hear that again and again, because this was again like all the perception from Way of Impeccability and Moreness-Project. This was also a big, huge deal for me,
Yeah.
because when a person understands how to take a power pause and when to take a power pause, they understand that they are not at mercy of situations and circumstances and other people's perspective. They do take their power back. And instead of reacting, they start responding, and so
Yeah.
on. Once you start responding, then you are living deliberately. And
Yes.
deliberate living is something you take full responsibility. Responsibilities, it's a big, huge word. It comes with a bit of okay, it is going to be a stress
Ah,
for me. Okay, responsibilities, blah 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 blah. But responsibility also come with the with the understanding and the confirmation that you do make your choices independently. That's why the responsibility is coming back to you.
yes.
Responsibility is a gift, which is a consequence of you making deliberate choices in your life.
Yeah.
Responsibility is also a gift of freedom. It's a symbolization, or it's a projection of freedom. You are free. You were making deliberate choices. That's why you have a responsibility. So instead of taking responsibility as a burden or a stress, taking it as a gift, as a consequence of your deliberate choices. I know sometimes we don't want to take responsibility, including myself. It was like, no, I don't want to. It's lazy, sloppy thinking. It's not a freedom free living. So we need to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Responsibilities are not a stress. Responsibilities are just a gift or an outcome of your deliberate choices. That's it. So that was my thought of the day. Thank you so much.
Wow.
And
Wow.
we are
Wonderful.
going to do today, what we are going to do today is something I was asking Sil, because we choose to focus mostly on learning and growing and personal growth, and of course spirituality and philosophy and psychology. Yeah, I'm just including myself as just taking the liberty of doing that. Actually, it is Sil who is doing that, who is sharing everything here. But It is just good. It's not because of vanity or anything, but like superiority. But I'm just including
Wow.
myself, so I can take some responsibility that I am also responsible for something what has been sharing here. So that is something, that is why I'm doing that. But anyway, coming back to something. So we do, of course, still always, mostly like 99% of the time, it is all about, not 95, okay, I can say 90% of the time, he choose to discuss things about self-learning, growing, and of course, growth and learning, and spirituality and psychology and, all, and other stuff. But the 10%, the remaining 10% is also fun. Is something like, okay, something you just go, and this is the door or the space, a small tiny space for the bonus to come in.
Wow.
So now what we are going to do today, we are going to do the capital R reading of Shakespeare. We're going to do
Yeah.
that. That is wonderful. And also that the capital, for new people who are joining us, capital R reading is a process where you get more than just reading a book, more than just the story, more
Yeah.
than just the sequence of events, more than just the explanation of characters and their behaviors and psychology. You get
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much more than just reading a book intensely. Okay, well, sometimes we say that, oh, I still remember that book. Yes, you might still remember that book. You might still remember that how it, what it was making you feel like at that time. But what was your takeaway? And what that takeaway really, really did to your life? Something changed. You grew up. You start choosing something different. You start choosing to respond differently. That's the real magic of capital R reading. Once you go through this process, your life is never going to be the same again, because you will understand that how you can do capital R reading to life in general, to people, to their perspective, to your perspective, to events, and in a bigger picture, to the whole universe. We can do that. At least we can try. So this is something we are doing every single time. Nowadays, we are going to start Shakespeare, capital R reading of Shakespeare. I don't know which book, what we are going to do, but
Coriolanus. Coriolanus. I shall screen share in a moment.
okay.
Uh,
And for my personal, I just want to request Syl that, okay, we are going to read it slowly. Shakespeare
oh yeah.
is
Oh yeah.
still and has been a big deal, big, huge deal in literature, and people do flaunt his name just for the vanity purpose, also for the superiority also.
Yeah.
Look, I was reading Shakespeare, as Shakespeare said that, and which sound very good actually. I was also impressed, and I'm
Yeah.
still. So I want to know that what was going on. But capital R reading process uh, hopefully will give us more content and the context of
Yes.
this.
Yes.
So yes, so let's
Okay.
start. So
So there is
you're not
something to
reading, you're
before we
not
start
reading,
with
sharing
Shakespeare.
the screen.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm going to screen share in a moment. But before we start, there's something very important to understand about reading Shakespeare. And that
Okay.
is you've got to have some patience,
Uh,
right? In this, that you don't, if you don't understand what's going on, just wait a little bit. Just hold your horses there. Shakespeare is very interesting in that he writes for the well, the hoi polloi, which is really sounds all very fancy, and people all think it means the elite or the nobility or whatever, the old nobility, but um, actually it means common people. So he wrote for the intellectuals and for the common people, and the common people love these shows, and they would come, right? And those that aren't, the for the most part were illiterate, but still they like these things. But they didn't understand everything, but that didn't matter, because there was lots of violence and wild stuff in it, in many of the things, right? And a lot of silly humor, like in the comedies. And that's where
uh-huh.
the word peanut gallery comes from. They would bring peanuts and the shells of the peanuts. They would throw it at
Uh,
the stage when they didn't like what was going on, right? So that's where comments
mm,
from the peanut gallery, meaning, uneducated comments, and rude comments
mm,
or whatever, that's where it comes from. But what he does is He'll write it all in the fancy way, and then later he'll repeat it in an ordinary way, and then okay, I see now what he means. Okay. So if you don't
Mm.
understand, just hold on a little bit and it will come. In other words, you can, go line by line like we do capital R readings, but in Shakespeare, you've really got to kind of go a little bit further. And then if it's not clear, then go back again, right? So just keep that in mind. Just
Mm.
suspend your understanding. Okay. So yeah, Coriolanus by William Shakespeare. I'm not sure if this is a comedy or a tragedy, because he has usually kind of either or, right? So contents, scene one, act two, okay.
Reading Shakespeare is a big deal, and
Yeah,
because I have seen that many people they
yeah,
do have
yeah,
it's a different
yeah,
cadence, it's a different style, it's a different vibe
yeah,
to
yeah,
read
yeah.
Shakespeare, and I cannot do this, so I'm not going to read this today at least.
Okay, so I don't think this is a comedy, just by the persons presented. Now, with plays, they
Okay.
they they have this usually a list of persons presented, and they usually say it in a different way, um,
Mhm.
in a more fancy way, not cast of characters, but anyway. So persons presented: Caius, Marcius, yeah, Caius Marcius Coriolanus, a noble Roman. A noble Roman. That's very interesting. And you don't see that very often because they didn't really have a nobility as such, right?
Mhm.
Your your status was military usually or political, right? Either you were a tribune or a general or a senator or something like that, right? But that's
Mm.
very interesting, this nobility. At least I'm assuming it was there, but not really focused. I don't know. It's very interesting. Anyway, maybe Shakespeare just introduced this concept, and just
Ah.
kind of mingled it up because the nobility was a big deal in Shakespeare's time. Titus Latius, general against the Volscians. That's also made up. I don't know if that's a historical thing. Uh, Yeah, Volscians. Wow. Comenius, almost like Comelius, but Comenius, general against two generals. Wow, interesting. Menenius, Agrippa, and Agrippa is a historical character, but I don't know if he was Menenius Agrippa, friend of Coriolanus, and Agrippa was a general also. Uh, Sicinius, Valutus, tribune of the people. So a tribune is a fairly high rank, but not quite a general. I'm not sure what a tribune of the people means. That sounds more like a political rank rather than a military rank. Junius Brutus, tribune of the people. Now, Brutus, of course, is famous in Caesar and is a historical character as the guy who stuck the first knife into Caesar. And the famous quote, "Et tu, Brutus," which means "you too, Brutus." Right? Caesar was a bit surprised that Brutus was his protege and his friend had stabbed him. Young Marcius, son to Coriolanus, a Roman herald. Tullus Aufidius, general of the Volscians, not Vulcanians, Volscians, lieutenant to Aphidius, conspirators with Aphidius. Who's Aphidius again? Uh, Oh, you see, I don't know. Aphidius isn't a character. That's interesting. See, but they say, lieutenant and a conspirator, a citizen of Antium, two Volscian guards, and then the woman, Volumnia, Volumnia. That's not a very flattering name, right? It's like the Latin for saying big woman, Volumnia. Mother, maybe that's what I must call the big woman.
Voluminous.
I must call her Volumnia because she doesn't have a name, but then she can reveal at some point. Well, technically, if you go look on my papers, my name is Volumnia. Yeah, mother to Coriolanus. Virgilia, wife to Coriolanus. Valeria, friend to Valerianus, gentlewoman attending to Virgilia. Romans and Volscian senators, patricians, aediles, lictors, soldiers, citizens, messengers, servants, and other attendants. All right. Miscellaneous peoples. Act 1, scene. Partly in Rome and partly in the territory of the Volscians and I wonder if it says Antithetes and Antioetes, maybe. Antioetes. Okay. So, Roman pronunciation, Latin pronunciation, little different. The emphasis, and usually that's how you figure out words. You figure out the emphasis, which syllable is emphasized. And sometimes whether it's a diphthong or the vowels are pronounced together in a sound, that's a diphthong, or broken up individually. Like in Japanese, the vowels are separate usually. They don't conjoin to make a sound. All right, scene 1, Rome, a street. I'm going to read a little bit, Beena, and then you read some. All right? Or do you want to start reading? Yeah.
No, I will try, but because it is difficult for me, but I will
So
try
far it's
later.
pretty easy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing difficult, yeah. But I just thought I'd read a little bit. And I just want to see how it goes. I haven't read Shakespeare for a long time. I mean, I've read his complete works twice, so I've had lots of practice reading Shakespeare, and then we did it in school as well. So, okay. Rome, a street. Enter a company of mutinous citizens with staves, clubs, and other weapons. Uh-oh, that's not very good. Mutinous citizens. First citizen, before we proceed any further, hear me speak. All, speak, speak. First citizen, you are resolved rather to die than to famish. Huh. Interesting way of writing that. All, resolved, resolved. First citizen, first, Caius Marcius is chief enemy to the people. We know it. We know it. That's very English. We note. Yeah. English, common people, language, slang, right? Person. Let us kill him and we'll have corn at our own price. Isn't isn't a verdict. Is it? Is it? Yeah, it is, but it says written backwards, right? We'd say it is. It's a verdict, but he say is the verdict. Interesting. Or no more talking. Let's be done. Away, away. Second citizen. One word. Good citizens. First citizen. We are counted. Poor citizen. The patricians good. What authority surfeits on would relieve us if they would yield us but the superfluity. While it were wholesome, we might guess they relieved us humanely. But they think we are too dear. The leanness that afflicts us, the object of our misery, is an inventory to particularize their abundance. Our sufferance is to gain to them. Let us revenge this with our pikes, ere we become rakes. For the gods know I speak this in hunger for bread, and not in thirst for revenge. This sounds very much like a citizen, ordinary person trying to sound fancy, right, Beena? Yeah. Yeah. It's an inventory
Yes,
to
yes.
particularize their abundance. Yeah, like trying to sound fancy. Second citizen.
Yes.
Would you proceed especially against Caius Marcius? First citizen. Against him first. He's a very dog to the commonality. Consider you what services he has done for this country. Now, the second citizen is the more sober voice here, right? And the first citizen is a little bit heated up. So I'm gonna just skip saying second citizen and first citizen and just read it in that
Yes.
tone, and then we get to know who it is, right? So the second citizen,
Okay.
consider you what services he has done for the country. The voice of reason trying to calm things down. Person, very well, and could be content to give him good report for it, but that he pays himself with being proud. Nay, but speak not maliciously. I say unto you, What he hath done famously, he did it to that end. Those soft-conscienced men can be content to say it was for his country. He did it to please his mother and to be partly proud, which he is, even to the altitude of his virtue. Very interesting. We're already starting to see something is going on here. Yes. I mean, this
Yes.
first citizen who's the rabble rouser, the leading of the rabble, obviously, now your story changes, right? First, you're saying that the cause of your hunger, your famish, as let us be not famished, he said, or famish. He used famish in a very peculiar. Norma says, "I like dogs." Yes, yes, Norma, I like them too. Yeah. But now it's coming clear that, well, he may be a bit proud in that, but yeah, so what? He's still doing good for the country. So likely this rabble is being set up to murder him for political reasons or some other reason, right? Yes, makes sense, Vina? I mean, are you smelling a plot?
Yes.
Are you smelling a plot here? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
right. Okay. He did it to please his mother and to be partly proud, which he is, even to the altitude of his virtue. So now you're blaming him for being a bit proud, but you are calling him very virtuous, right? To the altitude, in other words, high heights of virtue. Yes. So Bina, stop me when it doesn't make sense to you, right?
Yes.
Second
I will.
citizen. What he cannot help is his nature. You account a vice in him. You must in no way say he is covetous. If I must not, I need not be barren of accusations. He hath faults with surplus to tire in repetition. This is why I enjoy Shakespeare. Just the creativity, right? He hath faults with surplus to tire in repetition. I mean, it's like, dang, how many faults has this guy got that you're going to get tired repeating all the list of his faults? Like, wow, yeah, yeah, like seriously? Shouts within. What shouts are these? The other side of the city is risen. Why stay we prating here? To the capital. Right. Now, many things. This is set in Rome, but uh, you know, prating is a very English, specifically English word. I mean, that's something like you wouldn't necessarily use this if you're typically writing about Roman stuff, because yeah, well, maybe it originally comes from the Latin, but still in more recent times. But this is an earlier time, so all right, the word came to be more associated with English. But all right, doesn't matter. All, come, come. First citizen, soft. Who comes here? Second citizen, worthy Menenius Agrippa, one that hath always loved the people. First citizen, he's one honest enough, would all the rest were so. Enter Menenius Agrippa. Menenius, what works? My countrymen in hand. Again, see, this is Shakespeare's magic. And I love this about Shakespeare. Yes, very devious, Norma. Yes, there's definitely some skullduggery going on here. Yes, yes. Um, and some mendacity not coming from Menenius. Yeah, okay. Me having some fun with. Now, look at this. What works? Yeah. Well, work is, right? My countrymen in hand. He could have just said, "What are you people up to?" Yeah, but no. Shakespeare, he says it in a way that's creative and fun and fancy pants. Yes, right? I mean, without being too fancy. Yeah, right. I mean, he's still speaking sort of regular.
Yes.
There's no big words in this, right? Because
Yes.
Menenius is obviously a man of the people, supposed to be, right? Because first citizen, he's one honest enough. Would all the rest were so. So he gets high praise from Mr. Outraged over there, Mr. First Citizen. What works, my countryman, in hand? Where go you with? Where go you? There's either punctuation missing or a capital that's extra here, right? And no capital there. So this is kind of Very interesting, right? The lack of capitals. I don't know if that comes from Shakespeare or not, because look, you see, all of this here.
Yes.
Well, maybe it's just lack of capital after the question mark. I don't know. It's very odd. Where go you with bats and clubs? The matter? Speak, I pray you. First citizen. Our business is not unknown to the Senate. They have had inklings this fortnight what we intend to do, which now will show them in deeds. Show them in deeds. They say poor suitors have strong breaths. Right? Just like a little bit of, I don't know, it's not quite humor, but it's sort of an observation. They say poor suitors have strong breaths. Well, duh. They shall know we have strong arms too. Just look at the layeredness here, right, Beena? We read that whole,
Yes. Yes.
that whole sentence again. They say poor suitors have strong breaths. They shall know we have strong arms too. First of all, he's saying they are poor suitors. Well, they're going to go and do some mischief against, assuming the Senate, yeah, right? Likely some senator, I guess the guy that they mentioned in the beginning, who's the villain, yeah, supposed to be. I forget his name now. Who's the guy they against? Uh, uh, Caius Marcius. Yeah. So Caius Marcius, the villain here, is likely a senator, right? So they're going to be suitors to him, but poor suitors because they have strong breaths. Well, but now he's saying, obviously, like bad breath, yeah. They shall know we have strong arms too, but the creativity is saying that they shoot suitors, but suitors, poor suitors. But now they're going to, I don't know, just the whole magic of it as an analogy. It's just kind of taking that analogy of a suitor and turning it completely upside down. Right, quite creative, right, Beena? You like that? Oh no, Beena, where'd you go? Beena? Oh,
Sorry,
what?
it was mute. Sorry.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, you like the creativity of it? Yes.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't see you were mute there. Let's move you a bit. All right, there we go. Menenius. I was reading it wrong. It's Menenius. Menenius. No, Mena. It would be Menenius. Menenius. Why, masters, my good friends, mine honest neighbors, why will you undo yourselves? Huh. Isn't that just a beautiful line, Beena?
Yes.
In context, look at the layeredness of it. Yes. Why will you undo yourselves? Not undo poor Caius. No. Why will you undo yourselves? Yeah. We cannot, sir. We are undone already. Now see how he sets this up, right? I mean, it's a great line in itself, but now in relation, when connected to this one, it's fantastic. Yes, the depth, the layer, the connectivity. We cannot, sir. We are undone already. See, I didn't read that first comma there. It's different when you read it with a comma. Yes. So Menenius says, "Will you undo yourselves, first citizen? We cannot, sir. We are undone already." Mm, wow, wow. So dire circumstance. Menenius. I tell you, friends, most charitable care have the patricians of you for your wants. Your suffering is in dearth. You may as well strike at the heaven with your staves as lift them against the Roman state, whose course will on the way it takes, cracking 10,000 curbs of more strong link asunder than can ever appear in your impediment. For the dearth, the gods, not the patricians, make it, and your knees to them, not arms, must help. Alack, you are transported by calamity, thither where more attends you, and you slander the helms of the state, who care for you like fathers, when you curse them as enemies. Need any elaboration there, Beena?
Not now.
The play is
So why?
Coriolanus.
Okay.
Uh, just responding to Norma. So yeah, it seems to be well, not all these plays were strictly tragic, like Romeo and Juliet, but um, not a comedy, right? So regular play story. So in this last little mini speech here of Menenius, makes sense what he's saying, Beena? Any explanations needed?
No, no.
Right. You see, when
Please
you kind of
continue.
just let it come to you, it makes sense.
Yes,
Yeah, it's not that
yes,
complicated. I mean, you're saying,
yes.
hey, it's the gods. Don't hold it against the gods. Give them your knee, right? Yeah,
Mm.
your knees to them, not arms. And you see how clever Shakespeare is here, right? Arms. The first citizen said, yeah, but we not only have strong breath, we have strong arms, literally like a
Yes,
figurative arms. But arms also
yes,
means weapons. Yeah. So
exactly.
you see, so he meaning both there. This is Shakespeare's genius. Double meanings, double layers. I just love it. Agrippus is no, it's not the name of the play. He's just a one of the characters in the play. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so they care for you like so. Menenius making this whole case that the Roman government they looking after you and all this. So all right, first citizen, care for us. True, indeed. They ne'er cared for us, yet suffer us to famish, and their storehouses crammed with grain, make edicts for usury to support usurers, repeal daily any wholesome act established against the rich, and provide more piercing statutes daily to chain up and restrain the poor. If the wars eat us not up, they will, and there's all the love they bear us. Well, very powerful indictment, and it's you see, Bina, the same stuff being repeated all across the centuries. Yes, same
Yes,
thing. Corruption, in other
yes,
words, yeah, all this.
exactly.
Menenius Agrippa. Yeah, what about him, Bina? Oh, he's speaking. Correct. His name is Menenius Agrippa. Correct. Correct. His full name. Right. Yeah, he's the one who's talking. Yeah, yeah. He's engaged in the conversation. The voice of reason is Menenius standing up for the Senate, right? Menenius. Either you must confess yourself wondrous malicious. just a, that's just cool, Mina. I just the just simply saying things in this confess yourselves wondrous malicious or be
Yes,
accused
like
of
a, not a one vermiculus.
correct. Not a single vermicellus. All right. Well, I better elaborate on the story. So my brother and I went to um, a fast food place. It was similar to Dairy Queen. I'm trying to remember what it was. Wimpy's. What's called Wimpy's. Yeah. Anyway, Wimpy's from Popeye. Wimpy Burgers, right? Wimpy, the rather rotund fellow who was obsessed with eating hamburgers, right? And his name was Wimpy. Yeah. Um, I think his full name was Wimpy Hamburger, something like that. Anyway, but Wimpy, so Wimpy's became this fast food. So we go there, and I loved banana splits. And well, I don't see it so much anymore on banana splits, but they made banana splits, and you had a cherry on top, right? With the cream, cherry on top. Cherry on top was always on any dessert. The cherry on top was very, and these were glazed cherries, not maraschino cherries, glazed cherries, right? Wonderful. Always saved it for last. It's like the best thing of the whole lot. Anyway, but then on the ice cream and the cream, they would typically sprinkle vermicelli, and usually chocolate vermicelli, not the multicolored vermicelli, right? That was fairly rare, but the chocolate vermicelli, sprinkle it all over the top. And they would, sometimes we would add nuts as well. I don't care for the nuts. I would say hold the nuts, but absolutely on the vermicelli. So I was there with my brother, and they bring my banana split, put it down. Everything is there, but but to my horror, I exclaimed to the poor waitress, but not a single vermicellus. My brother he couldn't stop laughing for days on this. He just loved it. So, because that's the singular of vermicelli. It's vermicellus. Waitress had no clue what the hell I'm talking about. Like, what are you so upset about? But come on, man, that was like the vermicelli is like, and it was on the picture and the photo and everything. It's like, wow, come on, it's very important. Anyway, so yes, this is it's part of creative language usage, yes. But he's saying this to be wondrous malicious. uh, well, wondrous is usually something that's sort of positive, but he uses it with to say wondrous malicious, like, wow, I've got to wonder at the excess of your maliciousness. Yeah. Uh, but it softens to say wondrous malicious. It says, well, you're not really like out of your mind nasty, like what kind of a terrible person are you? You see? Right. Either you must confess yourselves wondrous malicious, or be accused of folly. I shall tell you a pretty tale. It may be you have heard it, but since it serves my purpose, I will venture to to stalt it, stalt it a little bit more. Huh. I don't recognize this word, but by implication, contextual, figuring it out, it means, I'll 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 risk it being stale in the telling. Yeah, I'll stale it a little bit more, right? That's the only way I can take that. Ferguson. Well, I'll hear it, sir. Yet you must not think to fob off our disgrace with a tale, but, and please you, deliver. It's interesting that he says now our disgrace here, right? The first citizen. He knows he's up to no good, in other words. Menenius. There was a time when all the body's members rebelled against the belly, thus accused it, that only like a gulf it did remain in the midst of the body, idle and unactive, still coveting the viand, never bearing like labor with the rest, where the other instruments did see and hear, devise, instruct, walk, feel, and mutually participate, did minister unto the appetite and affection common of the whole body. The belly answered. First citizen, well, sir, what answer made the belly? Just be patient, dude, it's coming. He's about to say. Menenius, sir, I shall tell you, with a kind of smile, which ne'er came from the lungs, but even thus. For, look you, I may I may make the belly smile as well as speak. It tauntingly replied to the discontented members, the mutinous parts, that envied his receipt, even so most fitly, as you malign our senators for that. They are not such as you. First citizen, your belly's answer? What? The kingly crowned head, the vigilant eye, the counselor's heart, the arm our soldier, our steed the leg, the tongue our trumpeter, with other mutinants and petty helps. Is this our fabric? If that they, what then? For me, this fellow speaks. What then? What then? Yeah, stop interrupting me, dude. First citizen, should by the cormorant belly be restrained, who is the sink o' the body? Menenius, well, what then? If you're not going to tell the story, okay, then continue. First citizen, the former agents, if they did complain, what could the belly answer? I will tell you. If you'll bestow a small of what you have little, patience a while, you'll hear the belly's answer. You are long about it. Yeah, yeah. Note me this, good friend. Your most grave belly was deliberate, not rash like his accusers, and thus answered. True it is, my incorporate friends. Oh, my incorporate friends. Yeah, I use this word to incorporate very often, and you see how nicely it's used here? True it is, my incorporate friends, quoth he, that I receive the general food at first, which you do live upon, and fit it is, because I am the storehouse and the shop of the whole body. But if you do remember, I send it through the rivers of your blood, even to the court, the heart, to the seat of the brain, and through the cranks and offices of man, the strongest nerves and small inferior veins, from me receive that natural competency whereby they live. And through that all at once, you, my good friends, this says the belly, mark me. Ay, sir, well, well, says the first citizen. Menenius, though all at once cannot see where I do deliver out to each, yet I can make my audit up, that all from me do back receive the flower of all, and leave me but the bran. What say you to it? Viand probably means like victuals. Yes, it's just an older term or broader term for victuals. Foodstuffs, stuff that supports us, that provides for our well-being. And though not through, oh, did I read that mistakenly? Oh, okay, maybe. Sorry, I don't know where that was, but all right, no worries. Thank you, Norma. Brilliant, brilliant. Ay, sir. Well, well, Menenius. Oh, and leave me to the brand. What say you to it, first citizen? It was an answer. How apply you this, Menenius? The senators of Rome are the Scudbelli. And you see now, Beena, he tells this whole story, and it's not particularly fancily told. It's actually quite easy to understand. But yeah, he gives the
Yes.
explanation, right? Right?
Yes.
I mean, it just is like making the obvious obvious here, right? Menenius. The senators of Rome are the Scudbelli, and you the mutinous members. 4. Examine their counsel and their cares. Digest things rightly, touching the weal o' the common. You shall find no public benefit which you receive, but it proceeds or comes from them to you, and no way from yourselves. What do you think? You, the great toe, the great toe of this assembly. I just, uh, there's no real connectivity anywhere, but at least he's there's the if the citizens, the senators at least, are the good belly, and everything flows right, arms, legs. He's calling this guy the great toe. It goes further. First citizen, I the great toe. Why the great toe? Menenius, for that, being one of the lowest, basest, poorest of the most wise rebellion, thou goest foremost. Thou rascal, thou art worst in blood to run, leadst first to win some vantage, but you make ready your stiff bats and clubs. Rome and her rats are the point of battle. The one side must have bail. Enter Caius Marcius. Hail, noble Marcius. Oh, now the villain, the one that the supposed villain, let's just say, comes to join us here now. Wow! So they don't even have to go to Caius now; he's come to them. Hail, noble Marcius! Marcius, thanks. What's the matter, you dissentious rogues? That, rubbing the poor itch of your opinion, make yourselves scabs. Wow. Wow. Just, just, you know, if one doesn't appreciate this, then I don't know. Then there's not an appreciation of creativity, yes, and ingenuity, yes, and language cleverness, and just I don't know, ingenuity, yeah, just that rubbing the poor itch of your opinion, make yourself scabs. How much does he not say in this, right? Rubbing the poor itch of your opinion, make yourself scabs. Now, not just cause scabs on you, but make yourself into a scab. Like in strike breaking, scabs are those who crossed the line of a strike, right? And went to work anyway. Yes. So a scab is an older term too, somebody who's against things, contrary, difficult, not nice, etc. Right? Too. So not only that you're making scabs on you, but that you become a scab by rubbing the poor itch, not a good itch, and insubstantial itch, a poor itch of your opinion. Fantastic. We have ever your good word, says the first citizen. Marcius. He that will give good words to thee will flatter, beneath abhorring. What would you have, you curs, that like not peace nor war? The one affrights you, the other makes you proud. He that trusts to you, where you should find your lions, find your hares, where foxes, geese, you are no surer, no, than is the coal of fire upon the ick, or hailstone in the sun. Your virtue is to make him worthy whose offense subdues him, and curse that justice did it. Who deserves greatness, deserves your hate, and your affections are a sick man's appetite, who desires most that which would increase his evil. He that depends upon your favors swims with fins of lead, and hews down oaks with rushes. Hang ye, trust ye, with every minute you do change your mind, and call him noble that was now your hate, him vile that was your guilant. What's the matter? That in these several places of the city you cry against the noble senate, who, under the gods, keep you in awe, which else would feed on one another. What's their seeking? Oh, so that's Marcius saying that. Yeah. Menenius. For corn at their own rates. Wherefore, they say, the city is well stored. So now we come to the heart of it, right? They want the price. They want to set the price themselves, not to have the Senate set the price. And there's plenty of it as well, right? Marcius. Hang him, they say. They'll sit by the fire and presume to know what's done in the capital. Who's like to rise? Who thrives and who declines? Side factions and give out. Conjectural managers making parties strong, and feebling such as stand not in their liking, below their cobbled shoes. They say there's grain enough. Would the nobility lay aside their ruth, and let me use my sword? I'd make a quarry with thousands of these courted slaves, as high as I could pick my lance. So a little bit here. Would the nobility lay aside their ruth? The root of the word ruthless. Yes. So if they don't do what's right, in other words, and ruthless in this case is doing what is correct and appropriate, or doing what needs to be done despite the emotional. So being efficient and effective, right? He said, well, if I lay aside my sensibility, in other words, and let me use my sword, I'll make a quarry with thousands of these courted slaves. And courted meaning having a quarterstaff, right? But also courted as in split up, and it's a section, it's a small part of it. As high as I could pick my lance. Menenius. Nay, these are almost thoroughly persuaded, for though abundantly they lack discretion, yet they are passing cowardly. But I beseech you, what says the other troop? Wow, interesting. So Marcius is a little bit feisty, and Menenius is still the voice of sobriety here. Marcius, they are dissolved. Hang him. They say they are and hungry. Sighed forth proverbs. That hunger broke stone walls, that dogs must eat. That meat was made for mouths, that the gods sent not. Corn for the rich men only. With these shreds they vented their complainings, which being answered, and a petition granted them, a strange one, to break the heart of generosity, and may make bold power look pale, they threw their caps, as they would hang them on the horns of the moon, shouting their emulation. What is granted them? See, again, I'm not sure what Marcus is talking about here, but it's going to come clear. Just wait a little bit. I don't know what exactly, some petition. We'll find out. You just have to put your curiosity on hold. You get the answer. Menenius, what is granted them? Marcus, 5 tribunes to defend their vulgar wisdoms. Oh, they of their own choice. One's Junius Brutius, Sicinius Volutus, and I know not, death. The rabble should have first unroofed the city, ere so prevailed with me. It will in time win upon power, and throw forth greater themes for insurrections arguing. So what's been granted them is some kind of a intermediary, right? A representation of the citizenry. You would think the senators are that, but not so. So this, remember, the tribune of the people, Junius Brutius. Menenius, this is strange. Marcius, go get to your home, you fragments. Enter a messenger hastily. Messenger, where's Caius Marcius? Marcius, yeah, what's the matter? Messenger, the news is, sir, the Volsces are in arms. Marcius, I'm glad on it. Then we shall have the means to vent our musty superfluity. See, our best elders. Interesting. So he's happy that there's some kind of external threat, because now he can take this internal dissension and focus it and vent it on the external threat, right? Our musty superfluity. Yeah, a extra mustiness, which he's calling this dissension and this unhappiness mustiness. It's quite marvelous, quite marvelous. See, our best elders enter: Comenius, Titus Latius, and other senators, Junius Brutus and Sicinius Vellatus. Sicinius Vellatus. Those are the 2 tribunes of the people. First senator: Marcius, 'tis true that you have lately told us the Volsces are in arms. Marcius, they have a leader, Tullius Aufidius. So that's who Aufidius is. He's the leader of the Volscians. Tullus Aufidius, that will put you to it. I sin in envying his nobility, and were I anything but what I am, I would wish me only he. Wow. Very high praise for the leader of your enemy. Yes? Wow. So Marcius is quite impressed with Tullus Aufidius, which is interesting, the name Aufidius. It's very close to perfidious. Yes? Which, to be perfidious, perfidy is to be kind of criminal, right? But it's sort of a softer way of being criminal, right? It's like a euphemism a bit for criminal, but to be perfidious is not so cool. But aufidious, maybe it means the opposite of perfidious. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't mean anything at all. It's just a name, but it seems to me, Shakespeare is fond of these puns and multiple meanings. Comenius, you have fought together, Marcius. We are half to half the world by the ears, and he upon my party. I'd revolt to make only my wars with him. He is a lion that I am proud to hunt. First Senator. Then, worthy Marcius, attend upon Comenius to these wars. Comenius. It is your former promise, Marcius. Sir, it is, and I am constant. Titus Latius, thou shalt see me once more strike at Tullus's face. What? Art thou stiff? Stand out. Titus Latius. No, Caius Marcius. I'll lean upon one crutch and fight with the other. Here, stay behind this business. Thanks. So I'm assuming Titus is a little bit older. Menenius. Oh, true bred. Yeah, you know, the morale of Titus is Titus, not Titus. Titus, sorry, Titus. He's liking Titus's spirit here. First Senator, your company to the capital, where I know our greatest friends attend us. Titus Latius, lead you on. Follow. Cominius, you must follow on. Right, worthy your priority. Cominius, noble Marcius. First Senator, hence to your homes. Begone to the citizens. Marcius, nay, let them follow. The Volsces must have corn. Take these rats thither to gnaw their garners. Worshipful mutineers, your valor puts well forth. Pray follow. Yeah, so go and complain to the Volsces and see what they make of you. Bit of sarcasm there in a very, very subtle way, right? Exeunt. Exeunt leaving the stage. Exeunt. Senators, common markets, everybody leaves. Citizens steal away. Sicinius. Was ever man so proud as is that Marcius? Brutus. He hath no equal. Oh, he has no equal, not hath. Interesting. Sicinius. When we were chosen tribunes for the people, marked you his lip and eyes. Sicinius. Nay, but his taunts. Brutus. Being moved, he will not spare to grid the gods. Sicinius. Bemock the modest moon. Brutus. The present wars devour him. He is grown too proud to be so valiant. Ah, Sicinius. Uh, Sicinius, such a nature, tickled with good success, disdains the shadow where he treads on at noon. But I do wonder, his insolence can brook to be commanded under Cominius. Oh. So they're saying Marcius is now under Cominius. Is he going to stand for it? He's so proud. Is he going to be able to be commanded? Interesting. Brutus, fame, at the which he aims, in whom already he is well graced, cannot better be held, nor more attained, than by a place the first. For what miscarries shall be the general's fault, though he perform to the utmost of a man, and giddy censure will then cry out, O Marcius, oh, if he had borne the business. Oh, this one can do with a bit of unpacking. You hear what he's saying here, Beena? What he's saying about Cominius. No, not Cominius,
Not
about
getting it. Okay.
Marcius. Yes, I'm forgetting their names now.
Not getting it.
Yeah. Okay. So Marcius, who was the guy that the rabble was going to go and wanting to do harm to, this proud fellow, right? And he was a
Hmm.
little bit feisty and proud. But now
Yes.
this Sicinius and Brutus, the two tribunes of the people, are saying he's also very ambitious. And first he's saying, "Oh, is he going to be able to be commanded by Cominius, who's the general?" So then Brutus says, "Fame at which he aims, in whom already he is well graced." So he's already kind of famous. Cannot better be held, no more attained, than by a place below the first. In other words, he can't be second in charge. He has to be the first because he's not going to serve his fame, right? Right. However, for what miscarriage shall be the general's fault? In other words, what mistakes the generals makes, though he performed to the utmost of a man, and giddy censure will then cry out of Marcius, oh, if he had borne the business. In other words, whatever doesn't go right, Marcus is going to say, yes, if I'd been the general, this would not have happened, even though it couldn't be helped. And, though he performed to the utmost of a man, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Cominius, the general, who Marcus is now going to be the second under, yeah, doesn't matter if he was impeccable and did everything right. Marcus is going to take whatever he can and say, I could have done better. Yeah, yeah, right. to further his fame, right? So they're saying Marcus is a bit of a snake here, right? A BMN, in other words, Sicinius. Besides, if things go well, opinion that so sticks on Marcus shall of his demerits rob Cominius. Brutus, come. Half all Cominius's honours are to Marcius, though Marcius earned them not, and all his faults to Marcius shall be honours, though indeed in aught he merit not. And here he explains it again, right? You see? See, always Shakespeare does this, right? Later on, he re-explains it. So he's saying Marcius is going to to make Cominius's faults, even though they're not, and make them into his, and whatever glory Cominius gets, he's going to steal, right? So he's going to turn the thing upside down. Sicinius, let's hence and hear how the dispatch is made, and in what fashion. More than in singularity, he goes upon his present action. Let's along. More than in singularity, he goes upon his present action. In other words, he's got multiple purposes in mind, more than in singularities. Not just got a single focus to go and serve and do his job. No, he's got multiple agendas. More than in singularity, he goes upon this present action. Let's along. Excellent. All right, that's end of scene 1, right? So we'll
Okay,
read
good.
scene 2 tomorrow. Yeah,
Yes,
and that was
yes,
good timing. Good timing.
yes, perfect timing.
Garners is to take in. Yes, to garner attention, to garner wealth, right? To accumulate, to take in and accumulate. And so garner is like a variation of gather, right? But to garner, it is to acquire, but not directly. Like to gather means you actually go and pick it up, but to garner means you hold it, you take it, but it's coming at you, right? Like garnering
Mm.
attention. Yeah. Oh, pleasure, Norma. Yeah, it's a very particular word, garner. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very interesting. You take in and you hold on to, you claim as yours that which may not necessarily be there for you. It may be, but not necessarily so. Yeah, fun stuff, fun stuff. Did you enjoy the Shakespeare, Norma? I'm keen to know. Beena, did you enjoy it?
Yes, I am enjoying it.
Oh, good.
It's a different flavor, completely different flavor to what we have been reading.
You're a little
Because
soft. Say again. You're a little
Musashi,
soft.
I was saying Musashi was not a good communicator. He
No,
was
no,
not an elucidator also.
no.
So it's a drastic difference between two because he
Yes,
is an expert master
yes,
in this.
yes, yes,
So
yes,
this is wonderful to
yes,
have.
yes. So what we were missing in Musashi, we now find here, right? Now we're going to see
Yes,
strategy of a different kind employed. Yes, I mean,
yes.
look at Marcus, the villain here now. At first, I wasn't sure if Marcus was going to be an actual villain, or because the citizens were against him, but sometimes they unfairly so, because
Hmm.
Menenius was sort of, well, maybe he was talking them out of it so they don't come to harm, but he seemed to be a little bit supportive of Mencius. But Mencius is a villain, yes, and maybe Menenius doesn't see it. He's taken in by the guy's charm and fame, and like VMNs. Menenius might be not seeing deep enough. He's not suspicious enough, but certainly the two tribunes, Brutus and Sicinius, they see him for what he is, as a snake and dishonest, and somebody who's just into fame and status and attention, a mere man, in other words, right? Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Always, especially with your seeing, says Norma. Ah, good. Thank you, Norma. I love it. I just enjoying things with you. And Shakespeare's just creativities, artistry. That's the word that I was looking for. The artistry
Hmm.
of his use of language. It's really excellent, and I really enjoy that. And I enjoy writing that way also. It's not only Shakespeare that can do this. Many others also, but Shakespeare really is the one who really brought it first to our attention. And this one isn't so much with the thee and the thous, that's very common, and hath
Yes.
and all that. It's not, unless they may have, this may be a translation of it, not in the original. I don't know, right? So it's possible that it isn't there. But I remember when I was reading Shakespeare. Well, we did Shakespeare at school, and then later in my great reading project, when Shakespeare came up, I read the complete works of Shakespeare. Just okay, which one are you going to pick to read? No, you read Shakespeare, the author, right? And after doing that, because now, I mean, that took me, I mean, it's a big thick book. I mean, the plays aren't in themselves very long, but when you put them all together, I remember it was about that thick, the book, right? It probably took me like a week or two to read the complete works of Shakespeare, right? And I'm reading every day, like all day. I'm like, so in other words, it's like at least a week of thorough, complete, full immersion into Shakespeare. At the end of that, I could speak Shakespeare. Just if I say, "Oh, I'm going to go to the bookstore," I was able to put it in that Shakespeare way. It's quite fascinating. I didn't do it much, but I knew I could. Yes. Tomorrow we'll read scene 2. Yes. So we're going to read scene 2 tomorrow. Marvelous, unusual choice. That's
Yes.
exactly what Beena said, because we were busy with other stuff, with the business stuff, and so we came a bit. I said, "Hey, Beena, when it came to quarter 2, I said, "Hey, we need to. What are we going to read? Because we finished Musashi." And she said, "Oh, something different." And we looked at a few different options. And then I was on this reading list of somebody, and there was Coriolanus by Shakespeare. It was a bit anomalous. Okay, there we go. All right, Shakespeare. So perfect choice. Perfect choice. So very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Quite wonderful. So, all right, so we'll end it there, and we'll continue tomorrow with scene 2. And it just turned out nicely that, scene 1, which is the setup now of this war that's going, and we now know the villain is Marcius, and the two tribunes, Brutus and I forget his name, pronounce it, Sicinius. And they are seeing what's going on, and Menenius, he not necessarily seeing what's going on, and the upset citizens, their upset has gone away because, well, if you want to go and fight the enemy now, and if you want to now go and have a revolt while there's a war on, you're going to lose the support of the rest of the public, and you're not going anywhere. So their whole thing just falls apart, right? So we know the setup now. We know that there's skullduggery by Marcius against Comelius. No, not Comelius, Comenius, the general. And we don't know what Comenius is like yet, if he's a good guy or not, but we'll see tomorrow. So we at least know the setup now, right? That's what the first part of the play is giving you the setup. It's laying out the lay of the land. And now we'll get to the details of the skullduggery and the villainy, because it seems like Marcius is definitely a villain here, yes? In an interesting way, that typically when you have a villain, they committing a murder or plotting a murder or some horrible thing, but the villainy here is pure superiority paradigm villainy, the villainy of pride, the villainy of ambition. Yes, ambition not in itself, but ambition um, um, unfairly gained. Yes,
Hmm.
unjustly gained. Yeah. So the villainy is of political villainy, skullduggery, of claiming attention, just pure superiority paradigm nonsense. Yeah. Right. There's no real actual crime involved. It's not illegal what he's doing. Yes. So it's a
Yes.
subtle villainy, at least so far. Yeah. I mean, it may be that there's more to it, that he actually does plot against, because Shakespeare does write about murders. Look, Macbeth is about the murder, right? And the whole stress of conscience, right? That falls upon Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. They get haunted by this murder that they commit of, I think Duncan is who they murdered. Yeah. And anyway, so in this one, it's the villainy is a very subtle villainy. It's the villainy of the corruption of pride, yes, and status and ego. Yes, so pure superiority paradigm corruption, nonsense, yes, inappropriateness and dishonesty, but not that he's doing something that it's not stealing. It's not dishonest in a very overt way. It's dishonest in him going to now claim, moreness from what he doesn't deserve. So very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Yeah, very subtle, very subtle. And we'll see what strategies he uses and employs. And also, we can, since we've been talking about Musashi and strategy, we can look at. I already mentioned one of Shakespeare's strategies is to say it in the fancy, complicated, the poetic way. Let's call it that. First, he says it poetically, and then later he makes it clear, right? So you can enjoy the poetry, but sometimes in poetry, you can get a little lost in what it means. Yes, because poetry is about innuendo, implication, intimation, reference. You might not catch the references, so you can't. What the poet understands by the references, the allusions, for instance, all of the stuff, you can't expect the reader to always get it. Yeah, so you need to make sure that they do get it. Otherwise, you lose your story if you are writing in this poetic way. Yes. Yeah. So brilliant, brilliant. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Norma, and glad you enjoyed it, Beena. That's cool. Do you have any questions? Anything? Any
Yes.
comments, Beena? Anything to say?
Not right now. Not right now. Not right now. But
Okay.
this is a different experience because
Yeah.
even if it is
You soft
this
again,
this
Beena? You
particular
soft again?
wow, this particular story
Better.
is not something we usually expect from, like, okay, when we are going to read Shakespeare. At least people who are not much familiar with, they have like, okay, oh yeah, Shakespeare
They,
would
they
be
were
a
not
different
what?
kind.
They were not what?
They're not familiar with Shakespeare much, so they assume that, okay, it's a typical genre he is writing. He is all about. So his
Yeah.
writing is all about. So,
Yeah.
but this
Yeah.
is this is a different thing. So
Yeah.
this is for me. It's a if not first, I think that this is the second experience
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
to read
Yeah.
Shakespeare. But this is wonderful, and I'm glad that Norma, you like it. What I'm perceiving it, the way he constructs his sentences and his lines, it demands, it cue you to give and pay full attention.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Because he will say a sentence and he'll reverse it like we say it normally, and then
Yes,
the end. He'll say
yes,
so you have to wait a little bit. And this is it, patience. And this is a great one where Menenius says to the first citizen, the rabble rouser, the toe,
yes,
he says, okay, thank you for now. Talk to you later for now. All right, bye-bye, Norma. Bye-bye, bye-bye. Yes, yes. He says you must have patience. Give it time. Give it time to work out. Shakespeare has a great range of subject matter that he deals with. He's very versatile. Yes, we know him for his histories and all that, and the comedies, but still, there's great range. I really recommend, if you get into Shakespeare, do read his entire works. It's not that impossible to read, but it's worth doing. It's very much worth doing. Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Very cool. I'm looking
yes.
forward to
Okay,
tomorrow.
so
Bye bye, Norma. So glad
yes,
you were here.
yes,
I love that you were here,
yes.
Norma. Brilliant.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, thank you so much. And please, if you are watching us recorded on YouTube or in the group, Sassy, please do comment, like, share, and subscribe also, because by doing so, you are going to help yourself.
Yeah.
Also, you're going to serve yourself and future generation, because you are being part of providing data to the online algorithm, which is a big
Yeah.
deal now, because online life is no more just part of our life, it is our life now.
Yeah.
Almost we are there, and as
Yeah.
in the age of AI, you have to pay really, really, really scrupulously. You have to pay attention to your online algorithm, because every click, every day is there. If you're just staying for seconds, it has been counted. It has been recorded. Not in your spying you or anything, but the data. This is how AI
Yes.
actually just learn. So the AI is just trying to learn, and it is the AI is really greedy to for learning and never get tired. So please do provide data according to what you
Wonderful.
really, really, really want in your life, which I assume that it is moreness. So whenever you see something which has some value, some substance, and you like the content, even if you are not 100% satisfied, please do share it, click like and subscribe and comment also. And we are open for suggestions. Like today, we are doing the capital R reading of Shakespeare's, and this is
Yeah.
very interesting. It's a different experience for me also. So we will
Yeah.
continue from the second scene tomorrow. Thank you
Yeah.
guys for being here. Thank you so much, Syl, for sharing.
Oh,
Bye for
absolute
now.
pleasure. Absolute pleasure. It was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed doing the reading as well. And I tried to capture the characters a little bit, but, I have to concentrate. So it's not rehearsed. So it's difficult to capture a voice tone of each character. But I did enjoy.
Yes.
So we'll practice more tomorrow, and maybe Beena will read some more tomorrow. And what we can do is maybe alternate the characters a bit tomorrow. Yeah, that
Wow.
that
Wow.
would
I
help.
will try
I
to.
read one,
Maybe
you
I,
read
I need
another one.
I need
So
a lot of practice for that, but I will do that.
we
I will
will
try.
practice on the fly. We'll practice on the fly. We'll
Okay.
practice practicing.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye, everybody. See you soon, Beena. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Yes.